It's funny. Most projects are actually won or lost long before they even kick off. We all see the action, right? The building, the coding, the doing. But the really critical work, the stuff that separates a project that runs like a well-oiled machine from a total train wreck, that all happens in the planning. So today, we're going to unpack that strategic blueprint for successful contract planning.
Just think about it for a sec. We've all seen those projects that just flow. They hit every deadline, stay on budget, and everything seems effortless. And then, well, we've all seen the other kind, the ones that are just a constant mess of delays, safety problems, and pure chaos. So what's the real difference? I'll tell you, it almost always comes down to what happened or didn't happen at the very beginning.
And this right here, this is the core idea we're digging into. The source material for this whole explainer is crystal clear on this. Planning isn't just one part of the process, it is the most important stage. Period. Everything else that happens is built right on top of this foundation. Get it wrong and the whole thing is shaky.
So why are we hammering on about planning so much? It's not about creating more paperwork just for the sake of it, trust me. The whole point is to achieve two things, and they're both absolutely critical. Efficiency, which is all about doing things right, and effectiveness, which is about doing the right things. That's the real endgame for any well-run contract.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. Okay, this sounds pretty complex, but here's the good news. It's really not. The entire framework for getting that efficiency and effectiveness we just talked about, it all hinges on you understanding and mastering just 3 fundamental project documents. That's it. So let's break them down one by one.
All right, first up is the absolute bedrock of the entire project, the scope of work. Everything, and I mean everything, flows from this document. If you don't get this part right, nothing else is going to fall into place the way it should.
So what is this thing exactly? The best way to think of the scope of work is like the project's DNA. It's the official blueprint that spells out every single task, every deliverable, every objective. It draws a super clear line in the sand, defining what's in the project and, just as importantly, what is out.
And this is so key. Reading the scope of work isn't like you're just kicking back with a novel. It's more like you're a detective studying a map. You're not just scanning the words, you're trying to build a picture of the entire landscape in your head. You're visualizing the tasks, seeing how they connect, and really understanding the terrain you're about to cross. That deep level of understanding is why this is step 1.
Okay, so you've studied the map, you know your destination, but what about the journey itself? What about the potential traps and pitfalls along the way? See, once you know what work needs to get done, the very next question has to be, what could go wrong? And that brings us right to our second component, the list of hazards.
This document is not just some random list. It's directly tied to that scope of work we just talked about. For every single task you mapped out, you now have to go through and systematically identify what could be dangerous. This could be anything from physical risks on a job site to, data security risks in an office. It's a full-on, comprehensive look at potential trouble spots.
Now here's the most crucial part. This list is not just a box-ticking exercise that you file away in a drawer somewhere. No way. It is a living, breathing, strategic tool. Think of it as your roadmap for preventing disasters before they even have a chance to happen. It lets you be proactive about safety instead of just reacting when things go bad.
All right, we know what we have to do. We know the risks we need to watch out for. The final piece of this puzzle is when we have to do it, and that's where our third core component comes into play, the contract period. The contract period is basically the project's clock. It gives your plan a timeline. It sets the official start date, the final end date, and all those super important milestones in between. This is the official timeline that the entire team has to be synchronized to. And this is where you can really see how all these pieces just click together. That timeline isn't just some arbitrary schedule. It's the skeleton that holds everything else up. It gives you the structure for actually doing the work and putting your safety measures in place. And it dictates the whole rhythm of the project from start to finish. So we've got our 3 core components. We have the what if, and the when. Now let's put it all together into a simple but really powerful blueprint for success that you can literally start using right away. Honestly, it really is this straightforward. 1. Get a deep understanding of the work that needs to be done. 2. Based on that work, identify every potential hazard you can think of. And 3. Schedule everything out within a clear, defined timeline. This simple 3-step process, that's the engine that drives effective project planning.
And look at that, we've come full circle.
By truly mastering this simple three-part framework, you directly hit those two big goals we talked about at the very beginning. You unlock the power to manage any project with maximum efficiency and peak effectiveness. And it all starts with the plan. So as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with this one question. Your next project, your next big contract, it's coming up. Are you just going to jump straight into doing the work? Or are you going to take the time up front to build this unshakable foundation for success first? The choice, as they say, is yours.